Hello? Hello? Can you hear me? I think we're working. Hello and welcome. My name is Emmy. I am with the Wakanda Area Public Library, and I'm here for our first ever Take and Make Craft live stream. Tonight we are, hello, Blitzfish. Hope you're having a wonderful evening. Tonight we are making this felt banner craft, and if you have not already, you can pick up a craft kit from the greeter desk at the Wakanda Area Public Library. We're looking at about an hour for tonight's craft, so if you want to get comfortable, I have made the finest quality apple cider that the library break room could provide, and we'll get started for a cozy crafting evening. For your own supplies that you'll need for the craft tonight, I have scissors, normal scissors. For cutting the felt for our flag, if you need it, fabric scissors, if you have them, you do not need them. Normal scissors should work fine. I also have some craft glue, although normal Elmer's glue should also work fine. I also have a ballpoint pen. Generally, this is a gel pen. I find that kind of more liquidy pens help with like drawing stuff onto felt so that we can then cut it out. I also have some more optional supplies for attaching your flag to the dowel. I have some of these binder clips to hold it in place, but you can also just add a lot of glue and smush it in. Wow, what good ASMR. And then I also have to add like additional decorations, some of these acrylic markers. Generally, more liquidy things are going to work a little bit better on felt. You can make markers work if you're patient, but paint markers like this will work great. But you can definitely use markers or Sharpies if you don't have anything else, and you also don't necessarily need to do any decorations as well. When you grabbed your craft kit from the greeter desk, you picked either a celestial night sky type color palette or a woodland type color palette, but ultimately the stuff inside is mostly the same. So you have 5 different colors of felt. And so in this kit, the woodland kit, you got a couple shades of green, like a cream color, and a red that looks very orange with my webcam camera. You also got a wooden dowel for flag hanging purposes, and then you have a couple of template sheets. So we've got some flag templates, a bigger one and a smaller one. That is for the checkerboard type pattern for your flag. And then a couple of different options of kind of like main emblems that you can pick for your flag. So that being like the snail and the goose and the mushroom and the acorn and the leaf. And ultimately, if you want to design your own flag, absolutely go for it. This is just printer paper. You don't need anything fancy. You can, make your art as you'd like and cut it out. I also have some little like accents that you can cut out as a template, like flowers and leaves. I believe it's stars, different types of stars for the celestial one. I think today I will make a goose. Oh no, there he is. I think I'll make a goose today. But first thing we need to do is start by cutting out our flag template sheets. So I will take a bracing sip of hot apple cider and we will go ahead and cut. Hope you like the comforting tones of air conditioner and a very loud clock. The telltale heart, more like the telltale clock. Am I right? And like I said, if you end up not wanting a checkerboard pattern for your flag, granted, the size of the felt sheets are sized to do a checkerboard, but you can absolutely just, you know, take one of these and like hang it around your dowel and just put your emblem here if you would like. There's no rules to crafting other than that you enjoy yourself and have a good time. I have my 2 template pieces cut out, and so now I get to pick the colors that I want for the background of my flag. I know that I probably don't want to do cream because my goose is going to be cream. I think maybe I'll do maybe brown and red for my background. So, sophisticated camera angle change here. So I've got my felt sheets, and so basically what we're going to do to make our checkerboard pattern is cut a small sheet and a large sheet out of each of them in order to make sure they are the correct size. I'm going to take my ballpoint pen and just trace them out. You can see why I said that. Felt does not always take marks the best. But really you just need just enough to be able to see what you're cutting. I'll do the same for the other sheet. So I'm not 100% sure how the mic quality is when I put that down, so I will cut with the camera up. I will show you first a tip on how to cut felt with these kinds of scissors because you can do it, it's just a little less convenient. You want to make sure that you're really cutting with like the back of the scissors. So rather than doing like a full cut, you want to kind of like cut a little, reset, cut a little, reset. So you're always getting kind of the sharpest part of the scissor in here. I am lucky enough to have fancy fabric scissors here, and we'll take advantage of them. I heard that the Cubs are playing tonight. I enjoy a live baseball, but I'm not the best at following baseball when I am not there. I know we also have a very whole program upstairs tonight called Swing the Lantern. And if you ever want to register for any programs, always head to our website, walklib.org, WAUCLIB.org, to come take part in some cool programs. We've got really great craft classes that are both adult and teen. So if you're a teen watching this and you want to come to a craft class, I highly recommend it. The staff member who does those always plans the cutest crafts. I see them around, and I'm very jealous of everyone who gets to make it to the classes. I have cut my deceptively not red looking felt. So I'll just repeat that process. So cutting these two templates out of my brown felt. I feel like a felt banner is really a good general classic decor piece. I wonder what the most creative place you can hang one is. Probably a bathroom? I feel like I don't associate felt banners with bathrooms. I don't know if anyone else is as obsessed with home decorating content on the internet as I am, but I think it's always nice to have a fun DIY to spice up your space. So I have traced those template sheets onto my brown felt, and we can go ahead and cut that out. And the reason that we have the two different pattern pieces is to layer them to create a checkered effect so that they look the same size even if they are not necessarily the same size. Okay, so brown felt is also cut out. So I will go ahead and arrange these first, and then I will show you. Basically, we're using kind of a seam allowance to make the different sizes of felt appear the same. So we're kind of staggering them. So putting the big piece right here, and then a small piece over here, and then the big piece under here. And a small piece over here. And we're just trying to layer them so they all look approximately the same size. And from there, we can go ahead and add some glue. And I decided to go with glue for this craft. You can definitely just sew it if you are a sewing proficient person. I just figured that more of us had access and ability to glue. And I'm finding that, with the exception of around the dowel, which probably needs some touching up, the samples are holding up pretty well. And generally you want to use a lot of glue for this so that you've got a really good stick. I think the best way to think of it is like seeping through the felt. Always remember, making mistakes is the most important part of crafting. So next up, what we want to do is, you can see that we've got a nice funky banner edge to our sample. And so we want to also go ahead and do that to our finished piece. So there's a lot of different like edge finishes you can do for a banner like this. I think the most common are like the triangle point pointing down, or like the like this, like a like that, two triangles next to each other. I do not have the vocabulary to articulate this well, apparently. So anyway, we're gonna cut the bottom. I think in I'm trying to decide what I want to do. Maybe in the spirit of mixing things up, I'll go ahead and do a cut upward. I will say, one thing I realized while making the sample of this craft is that this is really one of those crafts that like looks terrible like the whole time until you reach one point and you're like, oh, actually that's kind of nice. So if you are discouraged at any point of this process, we're gonna get there. I promise. I have cut our banner. And so now what we're gonna do is glue it around our dowel so that while we make our emblem, it can get comfortable. So we can let it set so that it's really secure by the time we're putting our emblem and our decoration on, and it'll be ready. I see some new people have joined. Welcome, new people. So basically what we're gonna do for this part is flip our guy over. It looks even uglier on the back. And then, aha, there we go. We are going to wrap it around like this, and then a bunch of glue, like so much glue, like an ungodly amount of glue. If you haven't If you think you've added enough glue, add more. This is really the only part of the banner that needs to be like very secure. So you want to be generous. Okay. So once our glue is down, we can go ahead and, if you have them, take a binder clip and just binder clip it in place to help hold it as the glue sets. Because the more contact the fabric has with the glue and itself, the better it'll end up staying. And if you don't have binder clips, I feel like chip clips would also work really well for this. All right. We are binder clipped in place. You can see this is what our front looks like for now. And we can go ahead and move this to the side while we work on some decorations. So as I said, I will be making the goose from our woodland kit, but feel free to pick whatever you like. As I said, you are welcome to draw your own template. The process will be the same whether you pick one of these or you draw your own. Essentially what we're going to do is cut out our template. So I guess the goose is not the best example for this because really the goose I just need to cut out of the cream fabric. But for example, if you wanted to do the snail and have the shell a different color than his body, what you would do is cut out the shell and then cut out the snail. So anywhere where you want to have a different color, you cut that part out separately. So for example, for the mushroom, I cut out the little bushes separately and made them green. I cut out the tops and made them red, and the stalks and made them cream, as well as the dots. So if you have, you know, some coloring supplies you'd like to add color on top of your little creature, you absolutely can as well. I will most likely do that with our goose's legs and feet. So your first order of business is cutting out your creature. Or not creature. Celestial body, I guess in the case of a lot of the ones. I think we got an acorn too. I don't know if anyone is able to chat, but is a mushroom a creature? Yes or no? I think funguses. Maybe creature adjacent? I feel like there's an argument either way. For the sake of example, I think I will cut out the snail, just to show you what I mean. If you do choose, I think they technically aren't a plant or animal, because they're a decomposer, right? Because they're like alive, more like are like, so obviously like plants and animals are alive in a different way. Are funguses alive in a way more similar to plants? Or are they just alive in their like completely own way? We're getting very existential. And I realized for people watching the live that we aren't recording the chat. So Blitzfish had said that they don't think that they're technically a plant or an animal. Funguses. I guess like are maybe the stupidest question that I've ever asked in my life. Are planets alive? No, because they're just like landmass. So, because like, is the sun alive? I don't think so. I think they're their own thing, funguses. That's cool. to be a fungus and to be your own thing. I have cut out my goose, but for illustrative purposes, I will also cut out the snail to show you kind of how to do it if you are doing different colors. And I am making the executive call to just either draw on, that I would either want to like draw on or cut out my own antenna and not try and make like very tiny details like this work. So I'm gonna cut them off. My apologies to this antennaless snail. And so I've cut out the general outline, and then I'm just going to detach our snail from its shell. And so while cutting these out, I would just trace this onto whatever color felt I wanted this color, well, whatever color felt I wanted the shell, and then I'd trace this little worm on whichever color felt I wanted his body. But because I will be making this handsome lad, I'll go ahead and trace him onto our cream felt. I suppose you could do your goose any color you'd like. Cream, red geese. I don't think red geese exist. Also, idea that did not occur to me until now, is this a goose or a duck? I can't remember what I searched many moons ago in August when I put this template together. In spirit, I believe him to be a goose. If you have access to someone who would be able to tell from this simple drawing if it is a duck or a goose, please have them report back to me. I would love to know. And I think, of course, you know, you are the artist. You do not need to be limited by such silly things as templates. Okay? We are here to break, I was going to say the laws of physics. I don't think in any way does this break the law of physics. But we're here to vibe. So I think, even though it is not part of the original template, in order to make our mysterious poultry look a little more Team Goose, I agree. In order to make our mysterious poultry look a little more three-dimensional, I'm going to also, on top of my goose, cut out a little wing piece that I can place on top. I think I went to draw it. I think I might as well just, no, I'm trying to decide if I want to freehand it or not. I think I will draw it out for fun. Okay, so I have my little wing piece and my probably goose, and I will go ahead and cut those out. I don't know how everyone else feels about day of the weeks. I feel like I've always liked Thursday in the sense that it's like a pre-Friday. Oh, I forgot something very important. You should be mindful where you place the things, and unless you don't care, in which case don't be mindful and just vibe. Of which way you face your little guy on your fabric. Generally, a easy hack to make your final craft look a little bit cleaner is whatever side you've marked on your fabric, glue that face down on your banner. But you also then need to keep in mind, so I placed my goose this way, facing this way, but if I flip him over, he will be facing the opposite way on my banner, which I'm okay with. The goose has a mind of his own. He can face whichever way he'd like. But if you are particularly attached to the goose facing like a particular direction or whatever you're cutting out, just be mindful of that when you cut. Another way to make sure that you're not getting those like pen lines in your final is just to cut inside of the lines a little bit so that you're effectively cutting them out. Whatever you think would be easier. If you're like me and you didn't realize until you were cutting that you did not consider the direction your goose would be facing at all, the cutting inside the lines thing is a nice hack. If at any point you guys would prefer if I tilted the camera down and gave you a more clear view, just let me know. If you want me to explain anything more in depth, do you guys normally watch live streams? I really like art live streams. I love a good... His legs look funny. Truly the littlest Stubbs. Incredible. I would die for him. I generally really like art live streams. I also, despite the fact that I am not currently studying, love a study with me, body double type live stream. I also have been known to dabble in a gaming live stream. We are from Ninja Country out here. In Lake County. Our little wing. So we can go ahead and attach our goose or duck, depending, to our banner. So my banner's just been drying over here. I will go ahead and move it over here, and then place our little guy where I'd like. And you'll notice this is an excellent point in time to strategically cover the ugly seam in the middle with a little guy. That's by design. So I'm going to apply the glue to the back of the goose so that I have a little bit of freedom in how I place it. I'm using craft glue because it's a little bit stronger. It tends to hold fabric a little bit better, but it does have the downside of like drying atrociously color-wise. Well, hope that's enough glue. Okay, we attach him. He kind of looks, at this current stage, as I smear glue, like a little long neck dinosaur. A Bronchiosaurus, a Diplodocus. I don't want to take credit for knowing those dinosaur names off the top of my head. We did just finish Dino Roar in Kid City, and I think that if that had not been so recently, I would be completely unaware. Well, that's cute. The wing idea, I'm an enjoyer of. I'm also going to take my acrylic markers and give them some features. We love ducks with features. Oh no, I've broken my own internal logic. So I'm going to take my acrylic marker. I was going to give him an eye first. I should probably give him a beak. I feel like it would make it easier to place the eye. So I am tip-tapping his little beaky in. Little beaky, the scientific term. That's a duck. And by a duck, I could also mean a goose. I don't know why I have flipped my own internal logic midway through duck. Oh, I did it again. I don't know if I should add like a little line to divide up. His beak from his body. Let me add a few more details first and we'll see how we go. If you have a double-sided marker like this, in the rare chance that you do, I find that the brush works a little bit better. Oh no. She says, as the brush is like, I'm not showing up today, actually. Let's see, maybe it's just not the best color. Oh, it's a little better. Should I give him a little nose? I feel like the more detailed I try to make it, the more trouble I'll be in. Maybe I'll add some like little feather lines here though. That does look, I don't know if you can tell from this angle, that does look like a little face going, I like it. It stays. Maybe I don't like it. Oh no. I'm gonna add just some more lines. Like all crafters, I have a complete inability to leave well enough alone, and I have to do stuff to it until I'm not sure I like it anymore. That's how you know you're crafting. I do love him. Don't get me wrong. But I did have the idea when I was thinking about which little guy I wanted to pick, where I realized I could give the goose a little bow. And very importantly, I will be giving the goose a little bow now. I think I'll do it with green. So basically I'm gonna cut just like the tiniest rectangle out of the green. Like a goose neck sized rectangle. Comme ça. And I have glued that in place. And then I'm just gonna freehand a little bow. Almost, maybe I'll do it more like a bunny ear tie, so like a heart-shaped. And where this doesn't necessarily look like a heart, but it does, in this context, look like it's been tied. So I guess in context it looks more like a scarf, which I'm okay with. It's autumn. I hope you are all having a wonderful autumn so far. I feel like I haven't done anything very festive yet. I have been kind of craving this year. I would like to go to a farm. Maybe a little corn maze. There he is with a little bow. Public service announcement. This is very important. So we have a duck with a little bow. I think I don't have pink. I was thinking about giving him like a little blush, but I don't have pink. So that probably would look a little weird. I do have cream. I am going to use some self-control and test it on a bit of cream fabric. It's not enough of a difference that I think we could get away with using that as a blush. So I am going to somehow, some way, leave well enough alone and not touch him. So for, I guess, like, technically our final step, we can add some little decoration details to fill out the rest of our banner. The word came to me eventually. So I'm going to cut out some different sizes of these shapes. The word will come to me. I think I'll do the smallest flower just because I don't want to take away. I'll probably make them cream and I don't want to take away too much from the goose because the goose is the centerpiece. And probably these two sizes of leaves just to add some visual intrigue. And kind of the same as I said where we're using our emblem to cover up that messier seam in the middle. This is also a great way to hide any mistakes you made. We love a craft where we can hide our shame. So I'm cutting out our leaf templates first. I feel like as far as seasonal and holiday crafts go, I do love a Halloween craft. For the kid take and make crafts last year, we made these cute paper pumpkins where you kind of form strips of paper into an orb. And I think those are just such a lovely craft. I wonder if there's like a sturdy enough material as opposed to paper where you can make them like a little more reusable. Because I think that'd be so nice to have. Just in like a fall Halloween-y decor arsenal. know for the adult craft class this month, adult and teen, so if you're a teen, you can definitely come. We did book page pumpkins, and those looked so awesome. So if you like crafting, I definitely think you'd really enjoy the crafts that we do in the craft classes. Not to be a total shill for the craft classes, but I think the library is pretty cool. I feel like this is a good Zen craft. When you craft, do you enjoy just like sitting quietly? I tend to be especially if it's kind of a more mindless craft like this, I really like to have like a podcast or like a long YouTube video on in the background, just that I can kind of zone out and listen to. So I'm gonna cut 2 flowers out of the cream fabric. I think that'll be nice to kind of have like asymmetrically in the 2 corners. Gee, I hope I can finish in 10 minutes. Oh, I talked too much. I suppose it's good to talk during a live stream. I feel as I sit in this room myself that we need music, but I've been trying to talk so that it isn't just, the sweet, sweet whir of municipal building air conditioning and the loudest clock. I'm curious to know if you guys can hear the clock. Okay. I have my 2 little flowers that I will, with some haste, cut out of fabric. One flower. Two flowers. I also enjoy a craft video like this. I feel like I tend to, for craft videos, like a really short craft video, so it can just be like, I get a quick vibe of like, oh yeah, that's how I make it. I feel like, or like a really long form thing like this, where it's like, you're relaxing together and making a craft together. I feel like that kind of middle ground of like a 15-minute craft video. Like, what do I do? If there's any craft ideas that you have for future Teen Take and Make crafts, please let me know. I do have some things lined up for the future, but I of course want to make crafts that you guys want to make. So I have added my 2 little flowers to those corners, and I'm just going to use my acrylic marker to add some centers. Okay, and then I have my 2 leaf templates. And of course, this stage is completely, you know, your whatever end product you're aiming for. I think I'm going to cut out a leaf in each size, in each color. I did really like the layered effect of like this one in particular. I thought that turned out really nice. I did try using a lighter acrylic marker on the dark fabric and found that I didn't love how it turned out, which is interesting because the lighter acrylic marker on the mushroom I thought turned out okay, but this in person doesn't look as passable as it looks like. Don't trust everything you see online. These don't look great in person. So I'm not sure what I want to try for decoration on the leaves, but I will at least get them cut out. If you need some ideas on how to repurpose any leftover felt you might have if you used like one color way more than another, like in this case, like where I'm just using the leaves for kind of accent colors. I know I have a friend who, if you celebrate, you know, a winter holiday that involves hanging things on trees, they make great ornaments. There's also a lot of really good patterns, free patterns online where you can make little animals. I've seen if you have any small children who are around you, I've seen really cute like Altoid tin repurposes where you can make like little play sets in Altoid tins, board games, and you can definitely use felt for that. Could channel your inner librarian and make a flannel board. Something that I think most teenagers generally love to do with their time. I don't know about you. But when I was a teen, flannel boards every weekend. And then, so I've got my darker green leaves cut out. And then I'll go ahead and cut my 2 lighter green leaves. I do kind of like the implication, since these are very medieval styled flags, that there's some kind of like Game of Thrones house, like medieval herald. House shroom. House goose. I feel like, I don't know how many of you guys like Game of Thrones, but I feel like there probably is a house goose. Like there's a fox house, like a bug house, I think. I haven't reread it for a while. So just cutting out my lighter colored leaves. There was an ominous bang. I don't know if you guys heard the ominous bang. I wonder if a lot of people consider libraries like a liminal space, like a closed library. I don't know if I do. I don't know if I've ever thought about it. Okay, I think what I want to do is maybe kind of do a pattern where I layer the leaves like this, keeping it simple. So I will glue those in place. I do think for this craft, layering really helps add some dimension. It's so easy to make. Oh, that's not gonna be good. Haha, okay. Maybe we'll be okay. It's not, like, felt is very easy to make look 3D when you layer it on top of each other and things like that, so. Okay, we are glued. I think the kind of awkward part here is that I feel like these turned out a much more similar size than these two. But that's okay. I think I will maybe use this cream marker to add just a little bit of detail to the leaves. I think that looks okay. No, the live stream can't be over. My craft isn't done yet. Here is our banner with leaf detail. And so I think just as kind of a last little decor detail, I think using my yellow acrylic marker, I'm gonna add some little yellow flowers. Not too many. I also don't know if they'll really read as flowers. Just wanted some, like, particle effects, if that makes sense. So I can tell right away that doesn't look good. So I think I'm gonna kind of turn them into polka dots. I think I may just do dots on the red and leave the brown plain. And of course, you can decorate however you'd like. As creative as possible. I think this is our finished banner for today. I'm not quite sure if this has been enough time for our banner to dry. Let's take a look. I think that if I were you making this at home, I'd leave it to dry overnight. But here is our finished banner. I've got quite the cute woodland array. I may put these by my desk at work. I think this one especially, I'm very happy with how it turned out. I hope that if you are making this along with me live, that you enjoyed it and you had fun. I hope if you're watching this back, that you've had a fun time making the craft. Please, as always, suggest future crafts. We want to know, especially you teens, what kind of programs you'd like to come to, what crafts you're into. Really, you're in charge of, what we just want to provide you with stuff that you enjoy. So since it is unfortunately the end of the live stream, I will bid you guys adieu. I realized I did not indulge much in my caramel apple cider. I have a really fun craft planned for winter that I'm really excited for. So I hope you guys will tune in for that as well. And we also have if you're seeing this live stream and you haven't had a chance to grab a craft yet, or you're seeing the recording and you haven't had a chance to grab a craft, there is still plenty left up at the greeter desk, and so we're at the Wakanda Area Library. If you come through the front doors, the first desk you see to your left, they will have the crafts. So I hope that if you haven't had a chance already, you're able to make one. Thank you so much for joining me for our craft today, and I hope to see you at the library soon. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye. I gotta figure out, this is my first time live streaming, so I gotta figure out how to